Welcome to the Sonoma County Library Community Coffee Series. My name is Selma, and I will be the host today. With me is Serena, who will be translating our conversation into Spanish.
Bienvenidos a la serie de Café Comunitario de la Biblioteca de Condado de Sonoma. Nuestra anfitriona es Selma. Yo soy Serena. Voy a traducir nuestra conversación al español.
We love our community, and we want to share news and ways we can benefit this community. Ways like the census.
Amamos a nuestra comunidad y queremos compartir noticias y formas en que podemos beneficiar a esta comunidad. Maneras como el censo.
Today, we are hosting Vince Harper from Community Action Partnership of Sonoma County.
Hoy recibimos a Vince Harper de Community Action Partnership del Condado de Sonoma.
Hi, Vince. It is great to have you here to talk about what your organization is doing for our community.
Hola Vince, es genial tenerle aquí para hablar sobre lo que su organización está haciendo por nuestra comunidad.
Thank you for having me, and I love the library, and I want to thank both of you for making this possible.
Please, tell us about yourself. What inspired the work you do?
Por favor, Vince, cuéntanos acerca de usted. ¿Qué inspiró el trabajo que hace?
I have a history, and it goes back to my mom, that she was very much a community volunteer. She actually volunteered for the library. She was one of the original Head Start outreach workers way back when Head Start started. And so I think that is one of my big motivations for wanting to help the community, is because I saw it every day in my own home when I was growing up as a kid.
Desde niño, Vince vio a su mamá que estaba trabajando como voluntario en la comunidad para la biblioteca. Y esto era gran inspiración para Vince para apoyar la comunidad.
Can you tell us more about CAPS?
Vince, ¿puede contarnos más sobre su organización CAPS?
Community Action Partnership is the county's designated anti-poverty fighting agency, and it's part of a network of about 1,000 community action agencies across the country. So our role is to just basically help people move out of poverty. So look at the needs in our local community and then meet those needs either by direct service or by influence policy, so that the playing field is level for people to have a chance to move out of poverty. In doing so, we operate a number of programs. We've been around in Sonoma County since 1967, so we've had many different programs during that time. But essentially, our main programs are Head Start, which is our largest program. So we're about a $10 million agency, and Head Start is about $7 million of that. We also do housing. We have school readiness programs. We have health programs, including school nursing. And then we have my program, which is community engagement, which covers everything from family to more initiative-based programming.
Vince escogió CAPS porque desde 1967 CAPS estaba encargado de muchos servicios y política para la gente de bajos recursos. Ahora, CAPS y 1,000 de agencias que trabajan al cruzar de todo los Estados Unidos está trabajando con muchos proyectos. Incluye Head Start, servicios de salud, participación de la comunidad y la política de habitación.
How did you get involved in the Roseland community?
¿Cómo se involucró de la comunidad de Roseland?
I've been working in Roseland for about 20 years, actually, doing some type of services, everything from youth programs to family programs, and most recently we were doing resident program that we were helping to organize residents in the Roseland area to improve the community. So that's how we got started in this process.
Por 20 años, Vince estaba trabajando en esta comunidad de Roseland específicamente. Trabaja en proyectos que apoya a los jóvenes, también a las familias y además para organizar los que viven acá en Roseland para trabajar en proyectos juntos.
Which projects are you working on right now?
¿En qué proyectos está trabajando ahora mismo, Vince?
So right now in the Roseland area, we have the biggest project that I'm working on is census, and we're preparing, helping to encourage people to complete the 2020 census.
En Roseland, el proyecto principal de Vince ahora es trabajar con la gente acá para motivarles a hacer el censo.
Why is the census important? What is so special about the 2020 census specifically?
¿Por qué es importante el censo y el censo de 2020 específicamente?
The census, the 2020 census is very important to our community because it is, first of all, it's how it's written into the Constitution, and it's how our federal government decides how to allocate everything, funding to local communities. So which includes everything from for public services, schools, roads, etc. And very important right now, actually, in particular, is emergency services that we definitely are very much in need of right now. But also, it's very important because it's one of the few things that's actually written into the Constitution that every 10 years that every person in the United States will be counted, and that's how they decide the funding, but also how we're represented in Congress, and then also how we our districts are formulated at the local level, state, and federal levels.
Está escrito en nuestra Constitución de los Estados Unidos que cada 10 años cada persona en el país va a estar contado. Y cuando cuenten la gente así, eso es el guía en que el gobierno decide cómo va a aplicar los recursos a la comunidad. Por ejemplo, para nosotros en Roseland va a afectar nuestros servicios públicos. Recibimos los fondos para escuelas, los caminos y servicios de urgencia.
Who is counted? What kinds of questions are asked?
¿Quién es contado? ¿Qué tipo de preguntas se hacen?
So it's basic questions. So it's how many people are living in the household, name of each person, age, race, ethnicity, could be country of origin, just kind of basic information, whether the person who owns, whether the person owns a home or whatever the living situation is. And what's really important, so there's about 9 questions that are asked. What's really important is what will not be asked. So this is very important that there is no citizenship question on the questionnaire at all. So there's no financial information asked. So they will not be asking about credit card information or bank account information, anything like that. So that's one way you could know whether you're, in a situation where somebody's trying to do a scam. And I think most importantly, another important element is that this is completely, your privacy is taken seriously. So it's confidential information that you give. It will not be shared with your landlord, law enforcement, ICE, or anyone. In order to make sure that you can trust that the information that you give will be kept private. the census workers are required to swear that they will not divulge information, and there's pretty hefty fines if they were to do so. And your information is locked away after the data is taken for about 75 years. So there's the risk of that information getting out is almost zero.
Hay un formulario que tiene algunas preguntas básicas. Empieza con la cantidad de personas que viven en el hogar, no solamente de familia, pero los que viven acá. Y van a decir los nombres, las edades, los raíces, país de origen y si renta o no. Pero más importante son las preguntas que no van a preguntar. Los trabajadores del censo no van a preguntar sobre su estatus de ciudadana, no van a preguntar sobre sus recursos financieros, ni cuentas de su banco, ni tarjetas de crédito. Su privacidad es una garantía. Ningún de los datos van a estar compartidos con nadie y los que trabajan por el censo tienen una multa si dicen la información a la gente. Todo está guardado y no hay ningún riesgo de contestar estas preguntas.
How has the pandemic affected your work on the 2020 census?
¿Cómo ha afectado la pandemia su trabajo en el censo de 2020?
Yes, it's impacted the work a lot. So as you can imagine, we had planned to have a lot of direct contact with people and encouraging them to complete the census. We also were going to do some mobile questionnaires on tablets where we would be able to be at, say, a health fair and be able to give the person a tablet and have them complete their questionnaire. So the big challenge with our role as what we're called Community Action Partnership is a trusted messenger. And so we are encouragers and motivators. We are not allowed to complete the questionnaires for people. So giving them a tablet is permissible, but it's not permissible for us to take their answers and put it in for them. Only census workers can do that. So the pandemic totally changed our vision and our plan for getting people to respond to the census, in that we just couldn't go out anymore. And so we changed to more of a digital approach, using a lot of social media, doing some events that were no-touch events to just make some noise and encourage people to do it, and create our own, I won't call them health fairs, because basically they've been kind of more pop-up events where people can come and we motivate them and talk to them and give them swag or prizes and gifts from the census.
En este ambiente con el virus ahora ha cambiado los planes de CAPS. Antes era el plan de tener contacto directo con la comunidad. Ahora están usando las redes sociales como Facebook para amplificar el mensaje que sí debe estar contado. Además, CAPS y Vince están planeando eventos informales en que pueden motivar a la gente para cumplir con el censo.
Tell us about what CAPS has been doing to reach out to the community before the census deadline of September 30th.
Cuéntanos qué ha estado haciendo CAPS para llegar a la comunidad antes de la fecha límite del censo de 30 de septiembre.
Yes, we've had to become a little bit more creative, like I spoke of earlier. One of the things that we've done is we've already done what we call a census caravan, and that's where we met in the Roseland Plaza, and we have, I think it was up to 15 cars decorated about the census, and very festive kind of approach to kind of just visually share about the census. And then the caravan part was we got all these cars and we drove around the Roseland neighborhood honking and making noise and just saying, we're here, we're here. You know, it's about the census, and trying to motivate people again to complete their census. And so we've done that. We did that in conjunction in Roseland with a census and tacos event. So we rolled around the whole community, Sebastopol Road, Stony Point, you know, and around the neighborhood. And then we came back and we did a census and tacos event where we had some booths set up, and people were able to drive through, get census information. We had partners, 4Cs and Our Head Start were giving out information about their programs. But ultimately, at the end of that process, people could stop at the taco trucks, Sabina and El Charro Negro, that are out there in the Rosen Plaza, and receive 2 tacos per person in the car. So we're trying to be creative. As long as they went through our tables and received the information, they could get the tacos. So that's one. And then the second one we did was we started at the Hyatt Hotel in downtown Santa Rosa, and with the focus of Northwest Santa Rosa, looking at how we can approach our hard to count neighborhoods. So neighborhoods that we already know historically, or already have been given information about that they have the demographics that make them hard to count. So we wanted to just drive around and make noise in that community and encourage people to do their census.
Ahora Vince y CAPS está trabajando en una manera muy única con los caramatos. Esos son desfiles de coches que están viajando por los caminos y plazas de Roseland, anunciando el mensaje que la gente sí puede contestar las preguntas del censo. Tenía una caramato en Roseland y en la plaza en que estaban educando a la gente sobre todos los recursos de la comunidad en que hay, pero específicamente el censo, y la gente tenía la oportunidad al fin para contestar el censo y para comer tacos de nuestros trucos, que son el charro negro y la lucha sabina.
What are the different ways people in Roseland can participate?
¿Cuáles son las diferentes formas en que la gente de Roseland puede participar?
So there's actually 3 different ways that people can participate. And so one is online, telephone, and the last one they can, if they still have their paper questionnaire, they can complete that. So very important that that's called self-response, so they can respond to that anytime up until September 30th. The other option for people who have not done it, there's going to be census takers out there in the community right now who are knocking on doors and trying to get that information. So since it's required by the federal government, these census workers are going to keep trying until we're still encouraging people to self-respond. But if you haven't, like I said, a census worker who is has a name tag and wearing census gear will be knocking at your door.
Si quiere hacer el censo, hay una forma de autorrespuesta que se puede hacer en línea, por teléfono o en el formulario de papel que ya recibió. Y la fecha de límite va a ser el 30 de septiembre. Si no cumple con la autorrespuesta, tiene la opción de contestar con un trabajador del censo que está tocando las puertas en su barrio para tener el formulario y cumplirlo con usted. este trabajador va a tener un credencial oficial del censo.
What happens if anyone misses the September 30th deadline?
Vince, ¿qué sucede si alguien no cumple con la fecha límite de 30 de septiembre?
So the September 30th deadline is it. That there's no second chance after that. It's been extended to September 30th, and anybody who does not get counted by then will not be counted for the next 10 years. That's why it's so important for our community that we get everybody counted before the September 30th, because the next census will not occur until 2030. And so all the funding that we miss out on for each person, roughly it's anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 per person per year. So just imagine that $20,000 over 10 years lost to our community will be huge if we have large numbers of people who do not get counted. And people still live here. They're still getting those services. We just will not get the funding. We won't get the representation in Congress. So it's like a huge price to pay if people do not complete their census by September 30th.
La fecha de 30 de septiembre es la fecha de límite, es el fin del censo. No hay otra opción para cumplir. Y si no está contado ahora en este año, hay que esperar 10 años hasta el año 2030 para estar contado. Entonces es súper importante que cumple con el censo, que la comunidad puede recibir los fondos del gobierno para servicios para Roseland y para Santa Rosa, y también para representación en el gobierno. Gracias.
Is there any other project that you want to bring to the attention of our community?
Vince, ¿hay algún otro proyecto que quiere llamar la atención de nuestra comunidad?
Yes. Similar to the census, we're working on a voter registration initiative. And so voter registration and voter initiative that is focused on making sure that everybody who's eligible to vote is registered 14 days before the next election, which is November 3rd. And to really emphasize the importance that this is a really big election for us for a lot of reasons, both at the national level, but also on the local level. Roseland will, for the first time, have a representative from the district on the Santa Rosa City Council. So this is a time to be able to pick who will represent you here in Roseland, both in the general specific Roseland area, District 1, and then also in District 7, which is a little further into Southwest Santa Rosa, if that's your part of your neighborhood. So, but November 3rd is very important, and another date that's very important, that in order to, the registration needs to be in 14 days before the election. So November 3rd is the election day, so 14 days back will be when the registrations are due. And this year, every registered voter will get mailed to their homes because of COVID-19. So this is a very unique year. You still have the option to go to polling places, but there'll be fewer, and you'll have that option to actually do your ballot at home this year. So it's big in a lot of ways. It's big because of COVID. It's big because of district elections. It's big because it's a national election, and there's a lot riding on this. So we really want to encourage people to really get involved and vote November 3rd.
Vince y CAPS están trabajando también en una iniciativa de votar. Es como el censo, pero es otra manera para estar contado con su vota. Se puede registrar para votar, pero hay que hacerlo antes de la elección. La elección es el 3 de noviembre. 14 días en adelante del 3 de noviembre hay que registrar para votar. Esto es bien importante este año porque su voz va a estar escuchado en el nivel federal, en el nivel estado, en el nivel de ciudad y en el nivel comunitario para Roseland. Porque este año es la primera vez en que Roseland tiene una representante en el ayuntamiento de la ciudad de Santa Rosa.
Thank you, Vince, for taking the time to talk with us.
Muchas gracias a Vince para tomar tiempo de hablar con nosotros hoy.
Thank you for having me.
Roseland is a place of many flavors. We have food trucks, ethnic markets, and wonderful families. This was a Sonoma County Community Coffee Series. Until the next one, be sure to be counted and stay safe.
Roseland es un lugar de muchos sabores. Tenemos camiones de comida, mercaditos étnicos y familias maravillosas. Esta fue parte de nuestra serie de café comunitario de la Biblioteca del Condado de Sonoma. Muchísimas gracias y hasta el próximo. Asegúrese de ser contado y mantenerse a salvo.